Yep.
What is going on, guys? How's everyone doing? Thank you for jumping on and on a Monday afternoon. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Where are you guys from? Let me know. Angelo, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Awesome. Thanks so much for jumping on. How's the weather out there? Angelo, you doing okay?
Yep. Weather's fine.
Awesome. Is it still rainy season out in the Philippines, or did you guys get through that?
We already got through that one.
Okay, awesome, dude. Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for jumping on with me. I promise I'm going to make this worth your while today for jumping on live on a Monday afternoon. I value your guys' time. I'm going to give you guys a lot of free gifts for jumping on. I do want to give a couple minutes just for everyone to jump on. Obviously, we like to start this at 2 o'clock, but in case anybody shows up at 2:05, usually the people who are late need virtual assistance the most. So we'll give everyone just a couple minutes to get logged on. This is not a pre-recorded webinar, some type of service, guys. We are live on this call in person, so hoping you guys will interact with Angela. I'm just pulling up my deck here. Give me and Krahan, where are you guys from? Cody Petarius, where are you guys from? Craig Doty, where are you guys from? I'm out here in Vero Beach, Florida, super small town in Southeast Florida. Angela, what part of the Philippines are you from?
Uh, Downtown Manila.
Downtown Manila?
Yep.
Awesome. I am in Vero Beach. If anybody knows Florida, it's Southeast Florida in between Orlando and Miami. Angelo, can you still see me?
I think your screen is lagging. You just froze, Moose.
Uh-oh. Can you see me now, Angelo?
Still the same.
Tried to unplug my second screen there. Let's see if that helps at all. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. It's just that
Awesome.
your screen is frozen.
Am I still frozen?
Yep.
Angelo, do you have the webinar deck on you?
I don't. To apologize.
Can you grab it from Canva?
Check.
Let me know if mine pops up. I seem to be having some tech issues, guys. I apologize. I came from one call straight to another. Am I back?
There you go. You're now sharing the screen. Still loading.
There we go.
There you go.
Perfect. Now we're back. Sorry about that, guys. I think I didn't give my screen enough time to adjust there. I literally left the coaching call, Angelo, came straight to this call, and I think I froze some things on my side. Can you still hear me okay? I unplugged my microphone in a second of panic there.
Yep. All good.
Awesome, awesome. We got some people commenting. Thank you, guys. Everything good now? Thank you, Ken Allison. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, someone said turn off your calendar. Man, I apologize, guys. We got a couple people from Atlanta, and we're probably just about at this 2:05 time, guys. Angela, what time you got over there?
It's now 2:04 a.m.
2:04. Awesome, guys. Awesome. We'll give just a minute for everyone else to log in. I'm going to head downstairs and make sure I've got a solid internet working. All right, guys. Has anyone ever hired a virtual assistant before? Is this your first time hiring a virtual assistant? Let me know. What position are you going to try to hire? What industry are you guys in? Well, you guys are letting me know. We are going to start diving in. And Angela, is Mimi going to jump in with us today?
No, she's on leave.
Okay, no problem, no problem. So, guys, if you are at the webinar, then today my goal is to help you buy back 40 hours a month with $5 an hour talent, even if you've never hired a virtual assistant before. Okay? That is my intention for you guys being here today. If you are here, it's because you've seen one of our Facebook ads and you've opted into one of our Facebook ads. You saw one of 3 different Facebook ads, either this one with this good-looking guy. I'm not good-looking enough to be on the ad, so we put this guy on there. We offer a 300 task list of the most common tasks that you should outsource with a virtual assistant, or you saw Cherry, one of our internal virtual assistants, speaking. So You didn't get here by accident. I didn't pull your email out of a list. You opted into one of these 3 ads, guys. I do want to introduce myself really quick, besides the guy who has his internet go out, right? So I am the CRO at Sphere Rocket. I oversee a team of about 40 virtual assistants myself. Okay. I've been with the company for the last 5 years. Over the last 5 years, I've staffed 8,200 virtual assistants from roughly across 4,000 different clients. Okay. As the CRO, I oversee the sales team, I oversee the affiliate team. I have about 8 executive assistants that work for me on data collection. I oversee the recruitment team that's currently doing about 10,000 interviews a month. This is a picture of me and my wife and my baby Blakely. She is an IVF baby. She is 20 months old. And guys, the reason I got into virtual staffing is because I was a successful executive myself. And the amount of time that my virtual assistants got back for me really changed me and my family's life. So my goal is to help you guys do that with your business as well. This is our team of 150 that we manage at Sphere Rocket. We go out every November. I'm heading out there. Angelo, by the way, I started talking to Brittany. I'll probably head out again this November to come see you guys live in person. So that's looking good. If you guys have never been to Manila or been to the Philippines, I highly recommend it. There's a beach out there called Boracay, which is my favorite beach in the world. It's one of the most beautiful beaches I've ever been to. Cool. So, who is this for? Who's on this webinar with us today? There's probably several different people. If you're a business owner and you're feeling overwhelmed, then you're in the right spot, right? If you're a business owner who's trying to scale, but you're struggling to scale because of the cost of domestic labor, then you're in the right spot. If you're a successful executive who's working tirelessly, again, that was me. I understand how you feel. You're in the right spot. If you've tried hiring virtual assistants and it didn't work out in the past, no problem. I want to hear all about that today, and I'm going to help you change what didn't work. If you've never heard of the term virtual assistant, but you know you need to staff somebody, then you're in the right spot. Essentially, if you're wasting time doing $5 to $10 an hour tasks yourself, if you have limiting beliefs around can an international worker work for you, then you are in the right spot. I'm going to help all of those people today. Okay. My computer is a little bit slow today, so just keep on reminding me. Angela, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Awesome. So, guys, I do want to challenge you today. Again, I've staffed 8,500 virtual assistants across roughly 3,900 different businesses. So I am going to challenge you. There's probably nobody in the world that you can speak with about virtual assistants at the level that you can speak to me about. Okay, I want to open up the floor to you guys. If you have any questions during today's presentation, I want you to ask them all. There's nothing that's going to be offensive. There's nothing that's going to be wrong. Please feel free to drop the questions. Angelo is taking note of those. And then at the end, I will answer all of those questions for you at the top of the hour. Because I value your time, I'm going to offer you a lot of gifts today and a lot of PDFs. If you guys do not comment when I ask you to comment, then I will not know which gifts you want me to send you. Okay. So make sure that you comment me when I ask you to comment me. Again, I want to introduce myself and give you my background. I've had an amazing sales career, guys. I've done just about everything imaginable in sales when it comes to starting my sales career. I worked for a company called Cutco, selling knives door to door, where I was the top sales rep in the nation in 2012. I worked for a company called BlackRock, which you guys might know of. It's the largest asset manager in the world with $12 trillion in assets under management, bigger than most small countries. I worked for a company called Regis as a regional sales manager where I oversaw 7 different locations. And I had a team of 2 remote employees, which was my first time experiencing virtual assistants. I'll tell you all about that in a minute. But even though I had a successful sales career, what a successful sales career led to was a roller coaster of revenue and a roller coaster lifestyle. We don't get started in sales so that we can have this insecurity and this fear of losing what we've currently built, right? But by having success in sales, 1 month I would make $20,000. 1 month I would make $5,000. The next month I would make eight. The next month I would be negative $1,000. And it led to this inconsistent lifestyle that I wasn't after. I always tell this story that there was a Thanksgiving when I was building and scaling sales orgs that my wife used to beg me, please, Moose, come to the dinner table this Thanksgiving. But unfortunately, I was building out a sales org to sell a Black Friday special, and I had to miss the entire Thanksgiving dinner. So I missed holidays. This led me to drinking and other addictions I shouldn't have been partaking in. I had no hobbies. I was just glued to my phone, constantly trying to get to my next deal. Now, don't get me wrong, because I was in sales, I had great things. I had fun things. I had cool cars. I had houses. I had bank accounts with money in it. But that's not why we get started. I had no time. I was constantly glued to my phone. I wasn't able to spend time with my family on the beach or vacation. No matter what we did, no matter how I tried to separate myself from the business, I was always glued to my phone, constantly chasing the next deal. So at one point when I was at BlackRock, I knew that I needed to hire somebody to try and get some of my time back. But the problem that I ran into was I thought my only option was to hire locally. Okay. 2017, one of my coaches, his name was Zach, taught me about the idea of hiring virtual assistants. He mentioned to me that I could get virtual assistants from companies like Google and from Amazon and Coca-Cola and IBM, big US based companies that are already outsourcing work to the Philippines. But I thought, like any mid 20-year old, I was like, no, I'm going to not do what my coach tells me, and I'm just going to do my own thing. Right. So in 2018, I ended up hiring my first assistant, but this person wasn't international. They were domestic. Now I paid them $4,000 a month. They were my executive assistant, and they did a ton for me in 160 hours of work per month. They managed my house. They managed my laundry. They managed my mail. They managed my taxes. They managed my wife. They did a lot. But for $4,000 a month, all I was getting was 160 hours worth of work, right? So the problem was, even though they were getting work done, I still had a roller coaster lifestyle where one month I would make $10,000, the next month I would make five. My income was still volatile because I had no base for my business. I was still the key man in my own business. So in 2019, I realized if I would hire my first set of virtual assistants, I could hire 5 times the amount of employees for less than what I'm paying this one person domestically. And all of a sudden, I could get a larger base, a wider base of people working for me, which would create more stability in my business. I could hire an executive assistant for $640 a month full time. I could hire a social media manager full time for $640 a month, CRM manager to keep my leads, my hottest leads on the top of my priorities every single day, someone to help me with customer support, someone to help me with like a setter like Angela or Topher or Ice who are on this call with me. And I could hire 5 people for $3,200 a month versus the $4,000 a month I was paying. And I could get 800 hours worth of work instead of the 160. What this would do is it would allow me to build a predictable business and allow me to spend more time with my wife and with my baby Blakely. It would allow me to take a vacation with my phone or without my phone. I always tell the story that I love the first time the first time I took a vacation when I had my virtual assistants hired. I ended up taking a Disney cruise, and my wife was so thrilled about the Disney cruise, not just because we were on a Disney cruise, but because I was able to take my phone, store it in the locker, never check on it again throughout the cruise because I knew that my business was handled versus me being glued to the phone and glued to my email the entire trip. Okay. So I mentioned to you guys the first time I hired virtual assistants was when I was with this company called Regis, right? Regis, I was a area sales manager. I oversaw 7 different locations, right? While I was at Regis, when I submit my notice to leave, I got this email from my boss's boss. And he showed me, Moose, you are, he called me Johnny Reed. He called me my real name, right? So he said, Moose, you are #1 in the country. I'm sorry to see you leave. And if you look at that report there, I did $880,000 in volume that month. The #2 person did $215,000 in volume. Okay. This wasn't because I was a better salesperson. What these people beneath me didn't realize that I had 2 virtual assistants that were working around the clock for me. I could cold call the pipeline. I could email the pipeline. I could text the pipeline 24/7 while I was working or while I wasn't working. And the people underneath, or the people who were working against me, my competitors, they could only compete with me during their working hours. So it wasn't because I was better at persuasion or better at sales. It's because I had more bandwidth. And that brought me to being #1 out of 473 salespeople. So my goal for today is I want to teach you guys exactly how I did this when I was at Regis. Okay. So I created a 5-step hiring framework. And whether you guys decide to hire domestically or hire internationally, then this framework will be for you. Okay. The first thing that you need to do when you are hiring somebody is you need to clarify the outcome that you want to buy back. Because there's only two different types of hires you can make. You can hire somebody to get your time back, or you can hire somebody to help you generate more revenue. I wasn't wrong when I hired the executive assistant when I was at BlackRock. She helped me get 20 hours a week of time back by managing my personal life so that I didn't have to take care of it. But if I really wanted to grow the business and stabilize the business, I ended up having to hire people like Angelo, Topher, Ice, who worked as social media managers, ISAs, cold callers, to get new leads on the pipeline to help convert more leads. And with that, I was able to scale my business and create more predictability. Okay. So there's a book that we like to read called Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. And Dan Martell gives this idea of a replacement ladder. He says maybe you're considering hiring, but you're not sure exactly what you should hire for. Well, what you should do is you should hire cumulatively. Where a lot of people go wrong is they try and hire sales first, they try and hire leadership first, they try and hire marketing first. When in reality, if you just hired admin help first and got 20 hours a week back of your own time, you could go spend those 20 hours a week on higher production activities and then create more systems on the delivery side or the marketing side or the sales side, right? And once you staff that, then you would move to delivery. So the example I always like to give, if you're in real estate, maybe you should hire a transaction coordinator for your delivery. At Sphere Rocket, we hired recruiters. We're doing 10,000 interviews a month. There's no way that you would catch me doing 10,000 interviews a month. It's because I have a team that does this, right? Marketing, I need new posts and content going out every single day so I have new leads coming in. But once I have leads, then I can hire salespeople like Angelo, Topher, and Ice to follow up with those leads. Then Justin, the CEO and founder of Sphere Rocket, was able to hire positions like myself, a CRO, to come in and oversee leadership across those divisions. So hiring is a cumulative process. If you are not sure what you should hire first, consider hiring an admin assistant first to get 20 hours a week back of your personal time. Okay? Once you know what you're trying to hire back for, step two is you need to source enough talent to make sure that you're hiring amazing staff. Okay? When I'm recommending staffing or sourcing talent is I want you to find volume of talent. What that volume should look like is I want you to find somebody with a background in BPO or background in corporate Philippines internationally. I want you to hire a freelancer from Fiverr or Upwork who's juggling 10 other jobs, calling them all their clients. I want you to find one person who's looking for a job transition to come and work for you. I want you to find somebody with relevant job experience. If you hire a social media manager, hire someone to manage your social media. If you hire a social media manager to come and be your cold caller, they're going to hate that role. You try and get me to be your accountant, I'm going to flop on the job terribly, right? Find somebody with relevant job experience to do the task that you're hiring for. Once you know what tasks you're trying to hire for, then you should find somebody who has good location reliability. I guess unlike myself there, Angela, right? But no, we're fine now. But with good location reliability, if you guys were on at the beginning of the call, I was talking with Angelo about, are you doing okay during rainy season? He said, absolutely. He's still here during U.S. Eastern working hours, even though it's raining out in the Philippines, even though they're in typhoon season, they're able to get everything working because they have strong equipment, strong Wi-Fi. It's able to sustain the weather. Okay. I want you to find somebody who's a good culture fit and a good energy fit. If you're an entrepreneur and you're hiring one of the first 3 people that apply to come and work for you, it's likely that you're not going to have good energy fit with them. And then you're going to be replacing them in a week and you're back at square one just a week later, or they're going to quit in a month because they don't like working for you. We live in the most liquid job market of all time. If you guys are not creating a strong culture fit and a good energy fit, then you'll constantly be churning through new team members. Okay. So when I source, this is how I like to do it. I like to go through about 500 applications per job that I'm hiring for. Those 500 applications, I'm going to take 100 to the first round interview. Okay. After 100 go to the first round interview, I'm going to take 25 to a second round interview. After the second round interview, I send 5 to the third round and then 2 to a final interview. This process should take about 40 to 60 hours if you are running enough sourcing. Step 3, after you've sourced enough talent, I want to make sure that you onboard your new talent with systems from day one. Here's what the systems I'm talking about. I want you to make sure that you have a good job description in place, right? Angelo should know what task he's going to do for me. He should know that when he's applying for me, he's applying to be the inside sales team lead. He should know what his compensation is before he ever applies to work with me. He should know that his schedule is going to be a 9 to 5 schedule, especially in Angelo's shoes, managing a team of 10 for me. He's probably more like 9 to 7 with me, right? He should know his KPIs. He knows that his team is responsible for setting 300 appointments per month. He knows that his team is responsible for hitting 120 dials per day per dialer, right? From there, he knows our meeting schedule. He knows that he's going to meet with me every day at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. It's not monthly, it's not weekly, it's every single day. But he only knows that because we've outlined the cadence together. Once we have the meeting schedule in place, I want him to know his task list. The task that he works on tomorrow might be different than the task today, but he'll never work on something foreign that I've never had him work on before. From there, we meet up once a quarter and we do a performance review. On that performance review, I review his KPIs and say, Angelo, is your team getting to 300 set appointments per month? Angelo, is your team converting 20% of the appointments that they set? Are they hitting their $150 per day? And from there, if they are, we will talk incentivizing Angelo so that he has a higher growth comp plan with us. Okay. And a really funny story, but Angelo started with us at about $3.15 an hour. Since he's been working with me over the last 3 years, now he's about at $10 an hour. Angelo, I hope you don't mind me sharing that, but it's because his team does such a great job. I want you to have a team handbook in place, right? Are your team members allowed to show up to meetings with their camera on? Are they allowed to show up with their camera off? What time are your meetings? What's the HR policies? What are their what's their code of conduct? All these things you should have in place. A lot of times I'm on these webinars and people say, Moose, I got a job that I've worked in the past that I hated, but it's because I was missing one of these elements. Okay. I want you to scale with tech, not just with people. Okay. Once you have your systems in place, I want you to have your tech in place as well so that everyone can do their job efficiently. So I'm going to recommend a couple of pieces of tech to you guys today. First one I like recommending is Slack, right? When I need to talk with the sales team, I go through Slack and I can talk to the sales team all at once. If I need to talk with finance, I go to our finance channel and talk with our finance team all at once. If I need to talk with marketing, I go to the marketing channel. Where a lot of business owners go wrong is they take all of their communication channels and throw them into one large group chat and confuse everybody in the entire org. Once you have Slack in place, I recommend having a tool like WhatsApp. If I need to speak to Angelo or Topher or Ice, call them directly on WhatsApp so I can communicate with them even though they're in the Philippines. I like my entire team to have G Suite. This way, everybody has an @sphererocket.com email address. They're not communicating with 5 different organizations. They're all communicating through Gmail. Now, when we are making Excel or we're making a Word document, it's all being done. We can all see each other's work. This way, we can build off of each other's ideas instead of Angelo being able to compartmentalize his Excels and Topher being able to compartmentalize his email. Right? They're all shared resources. From there, because they are a part of the inside sales team, they are all within my CRM. I use a tool called Follow Up Boss. I have 200 users within Follow Up Boss, guys. And they all have the same CRM so that when Angelo has a conversation with prospect number one, when Topher goes and has a second conversation with them, they can see what the conversation is about. They know that they have to communicate with their prospects in the CRM instead of having clunky conversations. Hey, Moose, how do you know your virtual assistant is doing the work that you're asking them to do? Well, this last screen here is a screen called Screenshot Monitor. Screenshot Monitor is $6 a month. It's a tool that I highly recommend. Screenshot Monitor for the most premium package is $6 a month. It takes a screenshot of whatever your remote employee is working on every 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes. Okay? Once you have these 4 pieces in place, then you can just repeat and continue to scale the business. Start with us at Sphere Rocket with just one hire, but today we're at 150. Okay, but again, it started with that first original hire. If you don't have a good executive assistant who gets you off the ground and gets you 22 hours per week back, you're going to struggle to scale from there because you're constantly going to be juggling too many projects. Okay, if you do not source enough talent, if you try and get lazy, you're going to find bad talent. That's when you end up getting scammed. That's when you end up replacing people. If you're hiring somebody, You're hiring them because you want time back. If you're replacing that time with just becoming a recruiter or virtual assistant, you haven't yielded any new time for yourself. You're just constantly in recruitment mode. Okay. So that's where I come in. I want to help you guys. I want to help you guys overcome limiting beliefs around a virtual assistant, specifically from the Philippines. Because guys, like I mentioned, I started this I started looking at virtual assistants in 2017. It took me 3 years, 4 years before I ended up hiring my first virtual assistant. And I don't want you guys to be in the same shoes that I was. Okay. These are the top limiting beliefs that I had. The first one was their education level. Would they be educated on Western culture? The second one was their accent. Would their accent be too thick to be able to have a conversation with somebody from the States? Is paying somebody $4 an hour actually ethical? What about my security? Is my information secure? Well, I know that there's typhoons in the Philippines. What about their Wi-Fi and their power reliability? I'm going to go through all of those with you guys, but I want to assume for the next 5 minutes that you guys have zero objections. Let's say that you don't have any of those limiting beliefs, and you say, "Moose, I just want a virtual assistant. I just want to know what I should staff them for." Okay. Well, these are the roles that you should or the tasks that you should staff a virtual assistant for first for $4 to $8 an hour. Okay, guys, if you comment task list in the comments, I will have Angelo send this out to you at the end of today's webinar. Okay, these are the top 25 tasks that you should hire an executive assistant for, or I'm sorry, hire a virtual assistant for. Executive assistant, project managers, ISAs like Angelo, Topher, and ICE, customer service, bookkeeping, general admin, someone to manage your inbox, doing Operation Zero in your emails, right? E-commerce support, doing product shipping and drop shipping, so that you're constantly sourcing new products. Customer service, so that you get out of the day-to-day customer fires, right? I will send those over to you. I see a bunch of you guys dropping over task lists. Continue to put task lists, and I will send out the list of the top 25 tasks at the end of today's webinar. Okay. So, what does world-class $5 an hour talent actually look like? I want to show you guys today. The world, when they first think of the term virtual assistant in the Philippines, this is what they think of. They think of somebody out in the Philippines in a rice farm, out doing agriculture and having no Wi-Fi, having no power reliability, right? Well, guys, that couldn't be anything further from the truth, right? Just because or just because the Philippines are a growing country, right, does not mean they don't have strong internet and a stable lifestyle, right? This is downtown Manila. It looks just like any other downtown city or environment in the States, right? All these buildings, they have US based companies' logos and names on it. They have executives who are in the office wearing three-piece suits. They have the huge staff. This is IBM in particular, who are working out of cubicles, working in what's called a BPO, right? So, fun fact about IBM: IBM actually started outsourcing to the Philippines back in 1940, which is a fun fact for you guys. Okay. Again, this is our team of 150. They look just like an office with us in the States, right? This is them celebrating a Christmas party. This is Angelo here in the top right corner. So he'll be talking here in just a second. But guys, we ran a report from a company called Time Doctor. Okay. And Time Doctor, we said, hey, is $4 an hour actually ethical? Well, I want you guys to take out your phone real quick, and I'm going to challenge you. Time Doctor showed us that the average employee in the Philippines was paid 375,000 Filipino pesos per year. That comes out to $7,395 per year. If you take $7,395 and you divide it by 2,000 hours, what you're going to realize, 2,000 hours is a full-time working schedule, by the way, that is going to come out to $375 per hour. 370 or was it 369? I don't have my phone on me, Angela. Maybe it's 369, but 369 to 375 per hour, guys. Okay, that's what they are making in downtown Philippines. Now, typically, if you guys were on at the beginning, I like to have Mimi introduce herself. Today, Mimi is on PTO, so I'm going to have Angelo introduce himself. But I had limiting beliefs when I started with virtual assistants. I believed that their language barrier wasn't going to be effective in my market. I believed that their education level wasn't going to be effective. I believed that they weren't going to be able to work the same time zone as me, which was going to create work efficiency problems and Wi-Fi reliability problems. I assumed that they were going to have no knowledge of the Western culture, and I believed that my information would be unsecure or insecure. So, Angela, if you could just jump on, tell everyone a bit about your background, introduce yourself, tell everyone a bit about your education and what you do.
Yeah. So, hey guys, my name is Angelo. I'm currently served as the team lead for the ISA under Moose. Here at Sphere Rocket. So I oversee a team of 9, and I'm responsible for managing the day-to-day operations of the team. So that includes assigning and tracking leads, monitoring performance, conducting quality assurance, holding daily huddles. What else? Collaborating with upper management, as well as supporting individual development. So prior stepping into a VA role, I had a bachelor's degree in psychology. Then I worked in a various BPO companies like Dish, Fitbit, the fitness tracker, if you know that one. And then the last one that I have was with Synchrony Bank. Um, as a customer service representative handling credit card concerns for Lowe's Advantage cards. And then with that, those experiences gave me a strong foundation in client interaction, handling pressures, as well as delivering high quality service.
Angela, how long have you worked for me now?
Almost 3, 4 years.
Almost 3, 4 years. And how many people do you oversee?
As of now, it's 9, but we are ramping up, so it will be around 15.
Around 15. Amazing, amazing. And how many appointments did your team set last month?
Last month, close to 400, so we're trying to beat that numbers for this month.
I love it, man. I love it. What's your favorite part about being a virtual assistant?
Not commuting. Because traffic here in the Philippines, it's kind of hellish. So
Got it.
you will, yeah, you'll go to your office 2 hours, 2 hours before your shift, and then going back home still 2 hours. So it will take you about 4 hours of your day-to-day life, like doing commuting only.
Just
So
in
yeah,
commute time. Just in commute time.
yep, yep.
Well, guys, if you think Angelo's English is amazing, type the word English, right? If you want to hire an Angelo for your team, type the word Angelo, right? Angelo is my right hand guy. Like I said, he's been with me for 3 or 4 years. So, Angelo, thanks so much for jumping on, especially while Mimi was out of the office. But what I want you guys to realize is that all my limiting beliefs were really just false, right? Angelo doesn't have a language barrier. In fact, his language is as good as mine. He got through that much better than I am, right? His education level was much higher than mine, right? I got a degree from Florida State University in creative writing. I'm glad somebody studied something out here besides partying, right? He works obviously American time zones and Eastern time zones. He has to work the same 9 to 5 as me. His work efficiency is very high because he's a very effective worker. That's how I've been able to take him from $3.15 an hour to $10 an hour over the last 3 years. He has good Wi-Fi, even though he's in the rainy season right now. He has good Wi-Fi and he's able to work through sort of the rainy season. My information is secure. Not that I don't trust Angelo, but my information is secure because I've set up systems so that my information is secure before I ever hired Angelo. Right. So this is the 2024 ROI from Mimi. Again, Mimi's not on this call, but she's one of the inside sales agents that works for Angelo. So I'm going to show you how I ROI'd and made money from Mimi. Right. I paid Mimi a base salary of $3.15 per hour. She made a total of $6,552 in her base salary. Okay. Now I pay Mimi a commission because she's in sales as well. Okay. So because Mimi's in sales, she makes money when the company makes money. Her total commissions and her total earnings at the end of 2024 were $26,990. Okay. So the cool thing about that is Sphere Rocket made 385 to $210,000 off of that $27,000 that we paid Mimi. Okay. I don't know if you have a calculator on hand, but if you do, take $385,210 and divide it by $27,000. And what you're going to find is that's an ROI of 14.27x. If you were to give me $1 and I were to pay you $14.27 back, how many times would you give me $1? Probably an infinite amount of times. And that's what we've done with Angelo's team. That's why Angelo now has a team of, like he said, it's currently 10, but it's going to 15 at the end of this month. The greatest part about all of this isn't the money that Sphere Rocket makes. But the fact that Mimi is 6x the national income average earner in the Philippines. She's a top 1% income earner, and she couldn't have done that in the Philippines. She couldn't have done that working for a big US based company. She did that by strictly working for a small business. Okay? So, how did I find Mimi? How did I find Angela? Exactly the process I told you guys about before. I went through about 1,100 candidates, right? We did a resume scrape and we sent 111 candidates. Of those 1,100 to a first round interview. We sent 43 to a second round interview. I picked up a final interview of 3 candidates, and of those 3, I hired 1. So that's exactly why Sphere Rocket exists. I want to help you find your own Mimi. I want to help you find your own Angelo or your own Topher or your own Ice. I want to help you with that because you all probably don't have the time to do it yourself. Okay. Maybe you're on this call and you're saying, Moose, I want to hire a salesperson like Angelo too. But I know, like you mentioned, I should start with an executive assistant. So I had Camille, who's my executive assistant, start off by giving me her KPIs and her playbook, okay, and her SOPs. So I said, Camille, do me a favor, create your SOPs as if somebody were hiring their first executive assistant ever. What would you have them do throughout their day to day? What would you have them do to make sure that they were productive working for a new employer? And she created those SOPs for you guys today. If you comment the word SOP, I'm going to deliver those SOPs that she created for you exactly. She's going to show you in these SOPs exactly 50 different tasks that she would work on as a business executive assistant for you. She would show you 50 different tasks she could take off your plate in a week to week working on your home life. I say all the time, my wife is married to the best husband in the world, not because she's married to me, but because she's married to Camille, right? Camille's taking care of all of that for me. So she's going to show you milestones that your new hire should be hitting in their first 30, 60, and 90 days. She's going to show you the KPIs that your new executive assistant should be hitting if they are being productive in their day to day. You'll know if they're doing a good job for you. She's going to show you an example schedule of their 9 to 5. I saw someone ask earlier, could you hire somebody part time or project based? Absolutely. But I want to show you what a full time hire looks like. Okay. But maybe you're on this call and you're saying, Moose, I know exactly what position I need, and I don't need an executive assistant. Well, what Angelo did for you today is we created a list of our top 20 SOPs, and he's going to give you access to those right now. Topher, if you could just put Sphere Rocket files in the chat so that everyone gets access to this. Guys, this typically has a paywall in front of it. But today, for the webinar, we have removed that paywall. We'll go to sphererocketfiles.com and you will get a list of our top 20 SOPs, whether you need somebody for bookkeeping, copywriting, someone for your home life, a lead coordinator, a personal assistant, transaction coordinator, customer service rep, inside sales associate, whatever person it is that you need to staff. Again, built out these roles for 9,000 virtual assistants, guys. I want you to have the SOPs that I followed instead of trying to do this on your own. And that's my gift for you guys today for jumping on during your Monday afternoon, okay? But why should you take my word for it? Let me introduce you to a couple clients. This is Dan Constantino. Dan has been with us for the last 4 years. Over the last 4 years, he staffed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 virtual assistants. He has such a big team of virtual assistants that he went out to the Philippines to meet his team in person, just like we do. By the way, we're taking our next trip in November, and then we're taking a client trip out in February. This is Dave Z. Dave Z has hired 4 virtual assistants with us. He sells about 100, 150 homes per year, which yields him $1 million in commission as a real estate agent. He does it with 4 virtual assistants instead of hiring somebody domestically. Okay? I've served 3,900 different clients in the past. I have clients like Renee who intended to hire 1 virtual assistant, which is just fine. But when she got to final interviews with us, she realized that the talent was so good, she had to make offers to more than 1 candidate. Pat Garrity, who's had multiple virtual assistants with us, one of which has had their 3rd anniversary with us. Pete Thorpe has had multiple virtual assistants who've been staffed for multiple years. Emin McKinley works for a company called Closers.io. They're an online education company doing about $36 million a year in new sales. Emin has multiple virtual assistants from us, and they're all legends. People like Nick Elia, who's in sales management, Dustin Runyon, who's in real estate, Dean Miller, who's in the restaurant industry, Chris Olson, who is in the home service-based business, and HVAC, Lori Graham, who's in real estate. Guys, across 4,000 different clients, there aren't too many industries that we haven't worked in. Kelly Shaw says that not only have his virtual assistants changed his business, they've also changed his personal life. So, guys, the list just goes on and on. But what I want you to realize is that if you are excited about hiring international talent, but you're scared about doing that much sourcing, you don't have to do this alone. Already built the entire system so that you don't have to figure this thing out from scratch. I want you to imagine for a second. Imagine waking up to a clear and concise email and a clear and concise calendar, right? A lot of times people jump on these webinars and they say, Moose, I have 6,000 emails in my unopened emails in my inbox, and I don't even know where to start. If a virtual assistant did nothing but clear out your inbox, I guarantee you would ROI, right? I want you to consider a clean calendar that has been contacted and confirmed so you don't have people no-showing you and leaving you at the last second, right? New leads who are booked on your sales calendar every single day because you have someone like Angela or Topher or Ice calling leads to put them on your calendar. Someone posting constantly for you on social media. Guys, Gary Vee's team has hired Sphere Rocket, and he's saying constantly you should be posting on 6 different platforms 6 times a day, right? The reason why you're probably not doing that is because it takes up too much bandwidth. Hire a virtual assistant to do that, right? I want you to imagine having a Slack message from one of your virtual assistants saying, "Joe, there are no fires today. I've been able to take care of it before we've had any issues," right? So Sphere Rocket has created the new way of getting virtual assistants. I see lots of you guys placing questions in the chat. Please continue to place those questions. I'm going to answer all of your questions as soon as I get through this demo at the top of the hour. So there's 3 different ways to hire a virtual assistant. There's if you do it yourself, that's completely fine. I'm going to show you that. If you do it through one of our competitors, that's completely fine as well. Then the third route is you can do it through the Sphere Rocket way. And I'm going to show you not how we're better, but how we are different than the other 2 options. Okay? If you do this yourself, I'll give you the websites. You can go to Fiverr, you can go to Upwork, you can go to onlinejobs.ph, you can go to Craigslist Philippines, and you can spend all the time building this out on your own and doing all the interviews and scraping all the talent, excuse me. The pro is that you're going to save a couple $100, right? If you need the cheapest way to possibly do this, do it yourself. That's the best way that you can, okay? From there, the cons are that you have no coaching, you have no mentorship, you have no pre-built SOPs, you have no way to check in on your virtual assistant. You're doing it all on your own. Again, if you're on this webinar trying to get time back and you just replace that time with becoming a recruiter or virtual assistant, you've yielded no additional time for yourself, okay? So if you say, cool, I'm not going to do it myself, I know I need some help with it. If you decide to go with the traditional agency or one of our competitors, they're a great model. I'm just going to show you how we're different, right? You can do it for $1,700 to $2,000 a month. $1,700 a month will usually cover somebody part-time. $2,000 a month will usually cover somebody full-time. The problem is the virtual assistant works for the VA agency. They don't work for you, the consumer. They don't work for you, the end user. They work for the VA agency, right? This makes it really hard to scale. Their only option is to take that VA and spread them across 5 different consumers, and then each consumer is using that same virtual assistant. So I'll show you what that looks like. Let's say you hired one person, they were a part-time person, and you paid $1,700 a month. Again, more affordable than what you would have from the United States. Of that $1,700, about $1,000 a month would go to the VA provider. $700 would go to that VA. Okay? If things went great and you decided to hire 3 of them, what you would run into is you'd be paying about $1,700 per hire or $5,100 per month, of which $3,000 would go to the virtual assistant company and $2,100 would go to the virtual assistants themselves. So we saw this as a break in the market. We saw this as a way that we could come in and undercut the market and do it at the most affordable rate for you guys. And that's how really we came into the picture. So over the last 5 years, we've been able to staff 9,000 virtual assistants. We've done this across 3,900 different consumers, okay? We've created 3 options for you all. We've created a part-time option, a full-time option, and an option in case you want to hire multiple people, okay? When you work with Sphere Rocket, this is everything that you're going to get. The first one is white glove recruitment, like I mentioned to you. We'll source through about 500 different candidates. We'll put them through a 3-tier interview process. We'll introduce you to 3 on the back end. You run a final interview, and then you bring on whoever you want. We will give you a one-on-one coach. This one-on-one coach is domestic, and they are paid hundreds of thousands of dollars per year to make sure that you are successful with your new hire. They will help you install your tech. They will help you create your SOPs. They will help you create your workflows to make sure that your virtual assistant is successful. They've done this 9,000 times. We will give your virtual assistant a one-on-one coach. This way they have a mentor to go to and somebody to check in on. Instead of working remotely and on this island all by themselves, they now have somebody to go to and ask questions to other than you, the busy business owner. Okay? We do 20 hours a week of live training. So every week you can pick and choose whatever trainings you want to go to. If you say, Moose, I really want to link up with you and figure out how to build out a sales process like you did with Angelo, awesome. Join me at Monday at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Again, I jumped straight from that call over to this call today. If you want to jump on social media management training with Tatiana, awesome. She has 1 million followers on TikTok. She'll show you exactly how she built out her TikTok following using virtual assistants. If you want your virtual assistant to attend video editing training on Monday, awesome. Send them to DJ and Ben. They'll teach them how to use tools like AI in their video editing. Okay. You pick and choose, and you can go whatever trainings you want to. And we record all the trainings. From there, you and your team can go back and review all the recorded trainings if you don't make it live. If your VA ever quits, retires, gets fired, gets hit by a bus, we will replace them an infinite amount of times because we're doing 10,000 interviews a month, every single month. We provide 4 quarterly masterminds. So if you guys ever want to link up in person, you guys could come out to this in-person mastermind, and then you would meet 100, 150 other business owners who are scaling their business using virtual assistants. You might say, Moose, I've hired virtual assistants in the past, and I've really struggled to retain them. They've always quit. They've always retired, whatever it was. That's why we've installed a retention team access for all of our clients. We will send out birthday cakes. We will send out anniversary notices. We will send out gifts and prizes as long as they are showing up, doing their job. We will help you retain your new hire for longer. And because you guys are on this call today, I am going to give you a special discount. Okay? So typically, this is how we charge. Again, we have 3 options: a part-time option, a full-time option, and a multi-hire option. If you hired one part-time person, we're going to charge you $600 per month, okay? That $600 would cover everything that I just mentioned. From there, you would pay the virtual assistant, but you would pay them directly. You don't pay us and then we pay them. You would pay them directly. We are the recruiter and a co-manager in the relationship, but then virtual assistant works for you, not for Sphere Rocket, okay? Let's say you paid somebody $4 an hour times 20 hours a week times 4 weeks in a month. That would bring you to $320. Your total all-in cost between the cost of the VA plus the cost plus our cost would be $920. Maybe you're on this call and you say, Moose, I already have a great inside sales team. I need somebody like Angelo to come in and oversee them. Awesome. I can find you whatever level of talent you want. You would just pay more based off of what you're trying to recruit. Angelo cost me $10 an hour. I saw somebody who said, Moose, could I hire you? You could, but it would be more than $4 an hour, right? So guys, you just pick and choose whatever level of talent you're trying to hire. If you want to hire full-time talent, right? Our fee wouldn't change. Fee doesn't change. You would still pay us $600 a month because you're only staffing one virtual assistant with us, okay? Because you're staffing one, you would still only pay us $600. Now, obviously, your cost to the VA would change because they're now working twice as many hours, right? So if you paid somebody $4 an hour times 40 hours a week times 4 weeks a month, that would come to $640. The cost of Sphere Rocket plus the cost of the VA would bring you to $1,240 a month. So guys, take $1,240 and divide it by 160 working hours. What you're going to find is between Sphere Rocket service and the cost of the virtual assistant, you're still under $8 an hour. Between all that we do for you plus the cost of the VA, you're still under $8 an hour, okay? What if you hire multiple? Again, I showed you how our competitor works, where they will charge you per head. Well, with us, the way we get really effective in our pricing is we will charge you one flat fee to 5 virtual assistants. So one virtual assistant costs $600 a month, but then to 5, it costs $900. It doesn't matter if you have 2, 3, 4, or 5. We will charge you $900, not $900 per head, $900 for 5 seats with us, okay? From there, you just pay the virtual assistants whatever you're going to pay the virtual assistants, whether those people are part-time, full-time, project-based, completely up to you, okay? This is what we call our transparent pricing model. With our transparent pricing model, you pay the virtual assistant directly. Now you can write off all of their taxes and their wages through what's called a W-8 PEN. It's all now tax deductible instead of it being tax deductible to Sphere Rocket. You control their raises, their bonuses, their overtime, their commissions, everything, because they are your team member, not Sphere Rockets. We separate ourselves from the model where you have to ask permission to Sphere Rocket to do anything because they're your team member, not Sphere Rockets. Okay? So we are the most affordable in the industry because we give you the part-time option, the full-time option, or the multi-hire option. Okay? Now, typically what I do is if somebody has come to me from a referral or somebody comes and looks at our website, we get them signed up through a 12-month contract. And we can do so because we've been doing this for so long. We're the biggest in the industry, right? But in July, well, we're still carrying this over to the first week here in August, right? In July, I challenged Justin. And it went really well for us. I said, Justin, I believe that we can go from 200 new clients a month to 250 new clients a month if we get rid of the 12-month commitment and we take it to a month-to-month contract. The reason I did that is I thought back to when I was hiring my first virtual assistant, and I know that some of the companies were charging a 12-month commitment. And I said, I'm not comfortable with 12-month commitments. I want something month to month. Nobody else in the industry is willing to do it. So we're putting our reputation on the line here, and we are going to do this through the first week of August and say, if you want a month-to-month contract with no long-term commitment, type month to month, and I will give this to you on a month-to-month commitment, guys. Cool. The cool thing about a month-to-month commitment is that it reduces your risk by 91.3%. If you don't like me, if you don't like Florida State, if you don't like Angelo, if you don't like Sphere Rocket, you can cancel, no questions asked. Because you are from ads, you don't know me, you don't like me, you don't trust me. I have to give you a month-to-month commitment to get you to trust me. Okay? So today, because you are on this webinar, here are all the bonuses I'm going to give to you. The first one is I'm going to give you this month-to-month bonus deadline. Again, this is supposed to be over at the end of the first week in August. This will be available through tonight at midnight. The second one is a regression contract. You say, Moose, I already know you, like you, trust you. I've been following you for a while. If you say in your first 30 days that this is as good as I'm saying that it is, and you want to sign up for a longer term, I'm going to discount you by $100. Your $600 commitment would go to $500. Your $900 commitment would go to $800 because you're signing up for a 6-month or a 12-month term, whatever you decide on. From there, I will personally do a one-on-one call with you for the first 5 people who make their deposit today. The first 5 people who make their deposit, I will do a one-on-one call with you and help you figure out exactly what position you should staff first, okay? I will give you access to one of our VIP coaches, one of our VIP client success managers. And I have to do this, guys. Again, you being my newest client on board on the month-to-month commitment, to make sure that you fall in love with our business. The client who's been with us for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, they're not going anywhere. They already know, like, and trust me. But you being on my month-to-month commitment, I need to make sure that you fall in love with us and that any issues that you have, any concerns that you have, they're taken care of through our VIP client success manager. Also, I want to meet you in person. So by signing up with us today for our month-to-month commitment, I will give you access to our VIP upgrade. It usually costs $1,000. I will give you access to that for free by signing up with us today. You can just scan this QR code or you go to vadeposit.com. Topher, if you haven't already, please place vadeposit.com into the chat box. Again, you'll have the option to either pay $600 for one virtual assistant or $900 for multiple virtual assistants. Okay? This is what everything would look like. You'll place the deposit today. You'll go into an onboarding call and meet your one-on-one client success manager. Okay? We will submit the order for recruitment and it will take us about 2 weeks to get through sourcing about 500 candidates for you. We put them through the 3-tier interview process, and then we introduce you to a round of 3 to 4 candidates who make it through our 3-tier interview process. You run final interviews and you bring on whoever you want. From there, you continue to work with us for the life of the account. We're going to continue to do time audits. We want to be a partner in your business. We want to be a partner on the recruitment side of your business. We want to help you scale past this first hire and get you to teams like Dave Z had of 4 or 5 hires, like Dan had for 5 and 6 hires, right? So again, you can do that through vadeposit.com, and you can choose to hire either part-time, full-time, or multiple virtual assistants. Maybe you're on this call, though, and you say, Moose, I've been following you for a while. I already do know, like, and trust you. For those people, I do have one more crazy bonus, and this is the craziest bonus that I can offer at the beginning of the month, okay? I will give you 12 months for free if you decide to pay it in full. So again, if you decide to pay us in full for 1 year, $600 a month times 12 would bring you to $7,200. What I will do is I will take your second year of service and I will make it free for you if you decide to pay in full. That would make your amortized rate $300 per month, and there's not another virtual assistant company in the industry that can compete at $300 a month. If you sign up and pay in full today, I will reduce your costs in half by taking you from $15,000 over the next 2 years to 7,200 in the first 12 months. Okay. So yes, one of the bonuses I'm offering today is a month-to-month commitment. But if you decide to pay in full, that is how I will create that discount for you. Okay. But I want to remind you, you're not working with a small company. I've done this thousands of times. I have 948 positive 5-star reviews on Google. I have multiple client testimonials if you go to sphererocketva.com. And so, but the pay in full isn't for everybody. I want to make this super clear. My intention is not to take food off the table. If you're a startup business and you're not sure who you want to staff, guys, take advantage of the month to month. That's why it's here. But if your business is established and you know exactly what you're trying to do and exactly who you need to hire, awesome. Save yourself some money. But if you're unsure, start with the month to month. That's why it's there, guys. Just a quick reminder. If you leave this call and you say, I want to hire somebody domestically, no problem. If you hired somebody in Texas, it's going to cost you about $4,000 a month for an executive assistant. You'll pay about $330 a month in payroll taxes, about $500 a month in PTO and work comp, disability, all that good stuff. And your total monthly expense are going to be about $5,000 or yearly expense of $60,000. If you do it with Sphere Rocket, again, it'll be $7,200 for the next 24 months if you decide to pay it in full. Okay. The bad news, guys, I can't do this. I can't do this all month. I can't do the pay in full bonus all month. I can only offer that to the first 5 people who take action. I want to incentivize those who take action because those are the people who I'd like to work with. So I can't offer this to anybody. If you came back to this call a week from today and you said, Moose, I want to take action on that fast start bonus, I can't offer it to you in a week from today. That's a today only offer. Okay. So again, you can scan the QR code. You can go to vadeposit.com. We're at about 2:56 p.m. Do want to get you guys to your Q&A. So let's take a couple minutes and go through live Q&A, guys. Any questions that you have, any concerns that you have, please feel free to fire away. Angelo, because I'm without the screen, I'm going to ask you to sort of read off the questions for me, dude.
Yep, for sure. Let me just get it here. So from Joseph Porto, what's the placement fee?
So hopefully that answers your question, Joseph. You probably asked that question before we got started, but $600 a month for not just the placement, but for the coaching and the consulting and the SOP builds out and the VIP client success manager, the 20 hours a week of live coaching, $600 for one virtual assistant, $900 a month for up to 5 virtual assistants. So hopefully that answers your question. What else?
All
What
right.
else? We got a couple people in real estate. What other questions you got there, Angelo?
Yep. Next one from Stephanie Simmons. That what was the name and author of book
Of what?
of the book?
Of the book. Oh, it's Dan Martell's Buy Back Your Time. Dan Martell's Buy Back Your Time, guys. That's really like the Bible for us here at Sphere Rocket. I see Jesse Brown says, is there anyone who does appointment setting for life insurance agents? Yes, Jesse Brown is one of our biggest fields. If you're familiar with a coach named Craig Wiggins, he's an insurance coach. We sponsored a Craig Wiggins event last year. I'm also partners with another company called Jumpstart Grow with David and Elle Denning. They are coaches for insurance agents, and yes, their clients and their clients are also clients. They're white label partners of ours. Somebody said, "Can I hire you?" Thank you so much, guys. What if we know that we need help, but don't know what all we need help with? No problem, Ken. That's why we're on this call now. Ask me questions live. We are here. Ask me questions. Let me help you. I can tell you if you're feeling confused about what you should hire for, guys. 9 times out of 10, the first position that you need to hire is an executive assistant. 9 times out of 10, it's an executive assistant. If you can get that 20 hours a week back where you're juggling, managing your email, managing your daily tasks, booking doctor's appointments, man. My executive assistant booked a topographical survey on my property a couple weeks ago because of a legal issue that I'm going through with an HOA. And I've never heard of a topographical survey before, but thank God my executive assistant got it booked, right? Someone says they want to talk to me about a CRM. No problem, no problem. What else, guys? What else, Angelo?
Yep. Next one. Let's check. Does the
Lori says,
600?
can I
Mhm.
hire you for CEO? Thank you, Lori. If the price is right, I don't know. I don't know, but I can find you a VA to help you to be your CEO. That's for sure. Um, what was your question, Angelo?
Yep. I want to let me just check. There you go. So does 600 including the VA cost?
No, the $600 does not include the VA cost, guys. Why? The $600 a month goes to us, to Sphere Rocket, for the recruitment, for the coaching, for the consulting, for the 20 hours a week of live training. But then you pay your virtual assistant separately, because in our model, the VA works for you instead of working for our competitors. And guys, because we did that, because we don't take a scrape of the VA, that's how we were able to undercut our competitors. Again, the most affordable competitor that I know of is charging about $1,500 a month part-time. You can get someone part-time at Sphere Rocket between our cost and their cost for under $1,000 a month. So we are almost cutting them in half. Cool. What else, guys? What else? What else, Angelo?
Yep. Next one is the assigned VA dedicated only to my business.
Yes, they are assigned only to you. Great question, guys. Great question. Yes, we will not introduce another virtual assistant to another client. Now, what I want you to consider is, if you hire somebody full-time, part-time, or project-based, if they have enough bandwidth, they're probably going to go work for somebody else. They wouldn't go and work for somebody else through the Sphere Rocket network, but would they work for somebody else? Most likely, because they have that much bandwidth. But if you hire somebody part-time, it's probably something that you're expecting anyways, right? With my social media manager, I allow them to work for other people. I only need them about 20 hours a week. Now, that said, and that those 20 hours that they work for me generate about 100,000 impressions per month, and they get a booked sales call for about every 1,000 impressions. Guys, if anyone wants to see the social media process that I use to book 100,000 impressions per month, let me know. It's all done organically through my virtual assistants. That's not through the ads that we were talking about earlier. That's through my virtual assistants. Happy to show that to you guys. What else, Angelo?
Yep. So how do you efficiently measure performance-based metrics?
How do we ask me one more time?
How do you efficiently measure performance-based metrics?
Great question. I love that question. So it depends on your KPI dashboard, which, again, that's one of your things that you should set up before you hire somebody. And that's one of the things that we help you set up at Sphere Rocket. I think it would be beneficial to show you guys that. Give me 2 seconds. But guys, with Angelo's team, as an example, what we track every single day is we track how many calls they've made, how many appointments they've set, how many of those appointments closed into new deals, how many follow-ups they need to do, etc. And as a result, I know that I'm getting a 14x ROI on Angelo's team every single day. But it's tracked through a KPI dashboard that we had created before we staffed the role. If you don't have the tracker, there's no way to have it in place. So I will show that to you guys real quick. Angelo, let me know if you can still see my screen.
Still loading.
So, guys, this is the numbers for the 2024 inside sales team. Again, Angelo at that team oversaw a team of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through the majority of the year, and then 2 more who we hired in December. At that point, we paid out $128,000 in total wages to the inside sales team. They brought us back $1.8 million, 14.45x ROI, and they booked in 1,380 appointments, of which 952 showed up, of which 356 were closed. So it's through a KPI dashboard. Guys, through Sphere Rocket, all this is already outlined. That's why you're using us. We have this as a template. I see that somebody said, I'm driving and I don't have access to use the QR code. No problems. Topher did put in the comments, vadeposit.com. You can just go to vadeposit.com and you can make your deposit there, guys. So you don't have to use the QR code. How about calling for collections? Yes, this is such a great thing to do, Lori. Such a great thing to do. And in fact, when I pull my inside sales team, I love hiring people that have experience in collections. So that's definitely something that you can do. It's something that I build out personally. It's something that I've helped many of my clients build out. But yes, definitely something that you could do. Somebody says, one social media for 29 sites using SocialBee. I love that. You're an excellent HR platform and a mastermind. We need to speak. Let's do it, Michael. Thank you so much for letting me know. I would love to help out. Somebody says VA for real estate. Yes, absolutely, guys. Real estate is one of our biggest fields. We started our business in the world of real estate because Justin, the founder, was a real estate agent who did $1 million in GCI before he ever started Sphere Rocket. He did it by having a bunch of virtual assistants working for him. And then he became so popular in real estate, people were saying, where are you getting these virtual assistants from? And he said, oh, I can find you a good one, right? And that's how Sphere Rocket was born. So do you have a social media lead generation thing to show? Yes, I do. Would that be beneficial to see? I want to try and leave the QR code up as long as possible. Guys, Angela, if you can, continue to put vadeposit.com and I will show the social media process.
Yeah, for sure.
Give me 2 seconds, guys. I will pull that up right now. Would that be beneficial to see the social media process, guys? Let me know social media, and we can send this this template out to you as well if you would like. So, guys, this is my social media process. Again, I have VA $4 an hour for it. Here's exactly what they do. If you can see my screen, Angelo.
Yep, still loading.
Still loading.
Yep.
Beautiful. So, guys, what my social media manager does, they follow 4 brands that I want my social media to look like. As they follow the 4 brands, I want them to figure out which content is most viral, right? Who has the most views, who has the most likes, who has the most, whatever it is. They will transcribe that content from my competitors or for the brands I want to look like, and then they will take that content and upload it to ChatGPT. They ask ChatGPT to rewrite that content, and then they publish the content. I take 1 day per month. I film all the raw footage. I send it back to them. They edit it. They make it look pretty. They send out friend requests. And as a result, I generate about 100,000 impressions per month. Super easy task to do for a virtual assistant. On those 100,000 impressions, I'll typically book about 100 sales calls. We'll typically convert about 20% of those sales calls. So that's a massive ROI for $4 an hour, guys. It's such a good task for a virtual assistant to do. Again, if you guys want that as a template, just let me know. I'm happy to get that over to you guys. What else, guys? What else? Continue to fire away at questions, guys. Anything that I haven't asked or I haven't answered, please continue to ask me with all questions. I promise you, there's no dumb questions except for the one that goes unasked. There's nothing that's offensive, etc. I see a couple people asking for the template. No problem. I can get that over to you guys. Do they use your account or theirs? They do use my account, Joseph, right? Which is just fine. I try and stay off of social media as much as I possibly can, but then it's my social media manager working within my social. So if you message me on social, you'll probably be talking to my VA. So just a heads up. Someone said data acquisition. Lori, tell me more. What are you looking for? Yes, calling for names of plant managers. Oh, Lori, this is so good. So when I left Regis, the first company that I went to was a company in international logistics where we were selling trade lanes between Shanghai and LA. I had a virtual assistant who was looking at incoming imports, and then we would contact the business owners of who was importing that product based off of the information that the virtual assistant found, and that was our process. So yes, Lori, what you're talking about is it's called a BDR, business development rep, and yes, it's one of the best roles that you can place VA in. It's the coldest of cold calls can get. You need multiple VAs. It's a $7,200 fee for 2 years. Not for multiple VAs, but yes, you can do that for two years. So, and it's $7,200 for one VA for 2 years. It'd be $12,000 for 2 VAs for 2 years. So, well, for up to 5 VAs for 2 years. So, yes, because remember, it's $600 a month for one virtual assistant. Our traditional fee is $1,000 a month. So it's for multiple virtual assistants. So $12,000 for up to 5 VAs for 2 years. And you can replace those VAs for an infinite amount of times. I need one for social media, but use for hiring FN. I'm not sure what the hiring FN is, but yes, one of the best things that you can do is staff someone for social media management, guys. What else, guys? Keep going. Angela, what questions am I missing? I know there's a lot of questions in there that I haven't gone through. There's still about 40 of us live and alive on this call. So will this recording be shared? Yes, I can put the recording out and I can send it out after this call, guys. However, the offer is good until midnight. It's good until midnight. If you guys need a phone call, please feel free to reach out to my sales team. Comment in the list that you need a phone call. Maybe your information is too sensitive and you don't want to ask your questions live. I can get a sales team member to reach out to you. Also, this is my personal cell phone number that I just put in the chat. Feel free to call me, text me. I would say you could email me, and you can email me. I'll give you my email, but it's not going to be me who answers it. Who's it going to be? It's going to be my executive assistant. I need a phone setter and sales nurturer for a med spa in Miami. Is Mimi available? Mimi is on vacation today, but you can't hire Mimi. Mimi is mine. I'm going to find you your own virtual assistant who's going to be as good as Mimi. So I love the fact that you guys want to hire Mimi. Mimi is amazing, guys. What else? What other questions? Angela, what questions am I missing, my man?
Have you already answered this one? Do you have someone who can help me find leads, make calls, find investors, post properties for sale, and anything else needed to help me grow my business?
Yeah, guys. I mean, what we would have to look at is how you're generating leads. So I just showed my social media strategy. You can generate leads that way. I generate about 100 booked sales calls per month using my social media strategy. You could go into LinkedIn and do cold outreach with a virtual assistant. I told you guys my background in building and scaling sales orgs. I've used a VA to scale my sales org for many, many years across 150 different businesses, guys. But they've always done it through cold outreach, and it looks like it's me reaching out, but it's not. It's actually a VA who does it. So yes, there's multiple ways that you can do lead gen. We have clients who've hired media buyers. We have clients who hire cold callers. We have clients who hire event planners. There's lots of ways that you can generate leads using virtual assistants. You just have to know what you're currently doing and then scale out your process. It's one of the things that Dan Martell talks about a lot in Buy Back Your Time, guys. He talks about you have to go through the pain yourself. You have to do the role yourself first before you can staff for it. Once you do the role yourself, then you can audit what's currently working. Once you audit what's currently working, you can build it into a process and then you can staff somebody to execute that process. Too often people say, Moose, I want to hire for this role, but I don't know what success looks like. Well, if you don't know what success looks like, it's going to be really tough to manage somebody into that process. That's why Sphere Rock exists, though. If that's you, you can still get started with us. I have plenty of clients who come to us and they don't even get a virtual assistant. They just utilize our coaching services. I have a client who just jumped off of a coaching call with, and they said, Moose, I don't have a virtual assistant right now, but I need to really identify my inside sales process. Fantastic. Let's dial that thing in together. Okay. What about this one? I'm just starting out creating a wholesaling business. Do you have someone who can help me find my leads, making calls, find investors, pass properties for sale? Yes, absolutely. That might have been the same question that you just asked me, Angela. So yes, we speak at a lot of wholesaling events as well. So yes, wholesaling is one of our primary businesses. There's a gentleman by the name of Ryan Zolan who is one of our white label partners, and he's a partner to us and a client of ours. So yes, lots of wholesalers utilize us for their wholesaling business, guys. What else? There's still about 40 of you guys sitting on here. I appreciate you guys hanging out so long. What else? What else can I answer that I haven't asked? There's got to be some of you guys who are sitting on this webinar and you haven't even asked me questions, but you're still hanging around. How about Adam Sabata? How about Althea Bowen? How about Anne Krahan? How about Chimia Easy? Claudia Hung? Danian, the coffee queen. All right. What type of coffee are you drinking out there? The coffee queen? Howie Sun, Justin Tarr, Ken Allison. I saw that you guys were interacting with me a bit earlier. Tammy Mahalik, Stephanie Simmons, Shanika Parker Rush, Victor Adu. What questions do you guys have? Don't leave me hanging, guys. Have you worked with any beauty businesses? Yes, Cynthia, we have. I'll answer this question. I never like to get into the politics of it, right? So we don't try and go one way or the other, but MAGA.com is actually a client of ours, and they just sent me over some tallow for like face cream that they use. So yes, we have worked with beauty businesses. Kind of cool. Last week we had somebody who got started with us through a fragrance business as well. So that was kind of cool as well. I need to hone down my sales process. Then I can hand it over to a VA. Awesome. Victor, link up with me. Make your deposit. Let's link up. Tell me about your business, Victor. Again, guys, my background is in sales. I've been in sales for the last 14 years. I've done everything imaginable in sales. I scaled out 150 different businesses. I've placed over 3,000 sales reps within those businesses. to Sphere Rocket, guys, before I got started with Sphere Rocket, I promise you there's nobody better in the world that you can speak to when it comes to building out sales process. I meant beauty service, not sales. Yes, I think I answered your question, Cynthia, before that about beauty services. Again, Maggie.com uses us. They help in our we help them in their e-commerce section. Um, what in regards to beauty are you trying to do? A fragrance company hired us. Shanika says, thanks for the info. Of course, thank you so much for being here. What else, guys? What else?
Yep. Moose, we have a question from Rohan Patel. If
All
we
right.
pay in full for the 7,200 and wanted to upgrade for more VAs, can we
Yes.
pay the remaining 3,600 a couple of months down the
Yes,
road?
absolutely, guys. Absolutely. It would count as equity. So maybe you stick with one virtual assistant for the first month or the first 3 months, and then you decide to upgrade on month four. What you paid would already count as equity. So it wouldn't even be an additional 3,600 for the difference. Thank you so much for the question, Rohan. But guys, maybe you're unsure. Maybe you're saying, I really think I could pay in full. My business is stable. I know I need this, but I'm not sure of all the details. Start with the deposit. Whatever you guys make with the deposit, I will count it as equity, and then your VIP client success manager will help you upgrade and pay in full so that you guys have access to that. They'll do that in the onboarding call to make sure that you guys are perfectly taken care of. Yeah, hopefully that answers your questions. How do you qualify a person that runs with your thoughts as an executive assistant? It's not a skill you can train, more of a business mentality. And Adam, I love this question. Oh, such a good question, right? And the answer is this, right? It's not easy, like you just said. But here's the truth: whenever you hire anybody, whether it's somebody domestically or whether you hire somebody internationally, your process is going to look like this. Day one, you're going to start working with the person. You'll start offloading certain tasks to them that you need less trust and less faith in, right? But as that relationship grows, you will start adding additional tasks to their list. I'll give you an example. My executive assistant with me, she started off just managing my email, and that was fine. Then she started doing some call reviews of my sales team, right? Today, she's doing my taxes for me. But she's been with me for almost 3 years. Now that being said, I've had an executive assistant that I had fired in the past as well. I mentioned that earlier in the call today, because we didn't build that long of a relationship. But Adam, the answer to your question is you meet with somebody daily. What we like to do at Sphere Rocket, and one of the tools that we give you guys is a thousand question onboarding document. We give it to you. We like you to answer it in a Zoom call, upload the information into Chat GPT, have Chat GPT fill it all out, and then you onboard your executive assistant so that your executive assistant knows everything about you before the relationship ever starts, right? They know your favorite food. They know when your birthday is. They know your wife's birthday. They know that your wife's hobbies. This way they can do their birthday shopping for you. They know whatever it is that they need to know to make sure that they are efficient in your job, right? I sell AI employee services and lead gen to home service contractors. That's awesome, Victor. Yeah, it's a great one. We have a lot of clients who are working in AI. I personally use AI a lot with my virtual assistant. I have my virtual assistants driving a lot of my AI, like I mentioned earlier with my social media managers, right? Man, pretty fun prompt. But recently, my social media manager started asking, um, Moose, Moose's audience. Moose, Moose's audience. Give me 5 prompts that will give me the creative juices to create all of Moose's content this week, right? Then ChatGPT will answer with 5 prompts or whatever. They'll take the favorite prompt and then they will re-prompt ChatGPT with that prompt, create the content, create the week's worth of content, and then they'll have it all uploaded. It's fantastic. Someone says, so executive assistants can be more of a Swiss Army knife. Yes, Ken, that's exactly what your executive assistant is. My executive assistant is my on-call person, right? Where I go to Tracy for everything. Just today, we were working together in onboarding sales reps. We were working together in firing a sales rep. We were working together in that topographical survey that I mentioned. She's managing my email. She's doing quality control. She's doing some of everything. But what Tracy is she is super organized and I'm not. If you look at my disc assessment, I'm super high DI constantly. I need to be on the phones talking to people, building relationships. And Tracy is my organization behind. She's the brains behind the operation to make sure that I stay organized. So hopefully that's beneficial. Can they handle general tasks as well as client acquisition? Yes, 100%. Tracy books my doctor's appointments. I put her in touch with my mom last week so that she can handle tasks for my mom, right? She handles my laundry. You guys might be saying, how does your executive assistant from the Philippines handle your laundry? Well, what I do is I let her know my laundry basket is full, and then she contacts my wash and fold company. They come to my door every time I tell her that I need them. I just drop a bag off out front, and then they come back the next time that Tracy tells them to come by. So yes, they do some of everything, guys. It just depends on how you build out the process. So Angela, I saw you off mute for a second. Did you see a question that I haven't answered?
Nope.
Someone
All
says
good.
beauty service based. So yes, lots of companies that are beauty service based, guys. How about guys? There's still a bunch of you here. Veronica Lamb, Victor Adu, Rohan Patel. I know that you just asked me a question. Marlene Lebron. Get started, guys. Use the QR code. Go to vadeposit.com. Angela, is my QR code still showing?
It's still loading. Let me check. Nope. But I'll type it here.
Cool. My QR code is not showing.
Nope.
Jeez, what am I showing? Excuse me, guys. Now the QR code should be showing.
There we go.
Thank you. What else, guys? What else? What else? What else? Guys, I will say as long as you guys continue to ask questions, if you guys are starting to tone down with questions, no problem. I thought this webinar was pre-recorded, super cool that it's live. Thank you so much, Victor. In fact, in my coaching call that I just got off of before I got here, I was explaining to my clients. I hate it when businesses do pre-recorded webinars or do AI webinars. I'm sorry, I know there's somebody in here who does AI, right? But labor pays a premium. I want to jump in here and I want to build relationships with you guys. If I know what Victor Adu needs to scale his business, then I can help him. If I try and have the machine do it, it's not going to be as effective. So thank you, Victor. Thank you. I appreciate the love. What else you guys got? Scan the QR code. Let's get started, guys. Questions? Anything at all, guys? Angela, you want to turn off the recording? We'll let everyone continue to ask their questions.